Imagine you keep every coffee ground, pasta leftover, and banana peel in one bin for 30 days. Not in the trash, just in that single container. Now imagine every apartment in your building does the same thing. 80 or 90 flats. Families, roommates, single people, all piling 30 days of food scraps into their own bin. How big is that mountain of food waste now? And what actually happens to it when the truck comes and it disappears? Because in most cities, those bins take one of two paths. Path 1, buried in a landfill, where that rotting food quietly pumps out methane, a greenhouse gas many times more powerful than CO2 in the short term. Path 2, composted, where the same scraps break down differently with far less methane and can come back as soil for parks, farms, or even your windowsill herbs. This is the Green Blueprints, and in today's episode, what really happens to your food waste? We're turning your kitchen bin into a full-on, city-scale experiment. How much can your choices in one flat actually move the needle for the air above your city? Let's find out. First, we need a test subject. So let's build an imaginary but data-based apartment. 2 people, no backyard. Typical city life, busy work days, some cooking at home, some takeout, the occasional food that goes off at the back of the fridge. On average, households around the world throw away tens of kilos of food per person every year. Break that down, and our 2-person flat might be wasting around a small suitcase worth of food every month. Some of it is plate scrapings. Some are best before dates we got nervous about. Some are leftovers we meant to eat, but didn't. Now here's the experiment. We're going to follow that invisible monthly pile down 2 completely different storylines. Storyline A, everything goes in the regular trash. In most cities, that means a landfill, a big, compacted mountain of mixed waste with very little oxygen. Down there, food doesn't rot like it does in a compost heap. It breaks down anaerobically and releases methane. Recent studies in the US and Europe show that food waste is one of the single biggest drivers of methane coming out of landfills. So our little apartment pile is now part of a much larger methane factory under the ground. Storyline B, exact same food scraps, separated as food waste and composted. That could be in an industrial composting facility, a community compost hub, or even a well-run home system in an apartment. Here's the important twist. When food is composted properly, with oxygen, the right moisture, and the right mix of materials, studies show methane emissions can drop dramatically compared to landfilling. Instead of trapping carbon in a methane bomb, you're mostly turning it into CO2, heat, and stable organic matter that can feed soils. So at the scale of 1 flat, the difference is already real. At the scale of that 80-flat building, it's huge. At the scale of an entire dense city like London, Los Angeles, Dubai, or Singapore, it's the difference between millions of kilos of methane and a lot less. Okay, so composting clearly isn't just nice to have. But how does this work if you live in a normal apartment with neighbors, elevators, and no backyard? Let's walk through 3 real-world options you might already have, or could set up. Option 1. The electric countertop composter. Think of devices like Lomi, a sleek machine that sits on your counter, quietly grinding and drying your food scraps into a soil-like material. On the plus side, it's clean, fast, and surprisingly easy to stick with when you're busy. Drop in your scraps, press a button, and a few hours later, you have something much closer to pre-compost than rotting leftovers. Yes, it uses electricity, but in many cases, independent assessments have found that the climate impact of running a device like this can still be significantly lower than sending the same food to landfill, especially if your grid is getting cleaner and you actually use the output to replace store-bought soil or fertilizer. Full transparency, we've tested Lomi ourselves for this channel, and we genuinely liked how easy it made separating food waste in a small space. If you're curious, we've linked it, along with other favorite sustainability tools, in the description and in our channel bio. Option 2. Bokashi, or a sealed indoor bin. This is the low-tech, budget-friendly approach. You layer your food scraps in a sealed bucket with a special mix of microbes. Instead of decomposing, they ferment. The upside? Minimal smell if you do it right. You can keep it indoors, even in a small flat. The downside? You need a plan for the second step, usually a garden bed, shared allotment, or community garden where the fermented scraps are buried and finished off by soil life. Option 3. Municipal or community collection. In more and more cities, this is the simplest route. You get a small kitchen caddy for food waste, empty it into a brown bin on the street, and trucks take it to an industrial composting or digestion facility. If your city offers this, it's honestly one of the most powerful, lazy climate solutions you can adopt. Same habit you'd already have, scraping plates, just into a different bin. The key is this. Pick the system that you will actually use in your real life. The perfect zero-waste setup that you hate is way worse than the imperfect system you stick to for years. So we followed your scraps into compost systems. What happens next? In cities with industrial facilities, your food waste might be transformed into finished compost for parks, tree planting, and farms on the edge of the city. In community systems, it might be feeding raised beds on a rooftop or soil in a neighborhood garden. At home, that countertop output might end up in pots of herbs on a windowsill. Either way, you've turned a problem into a resource. That helps in 3 ways. First, you've avoided a chunk of methane that would have come from burying that food in landfill. Second, you've created a material that can help soils hold water, store carbon, and grow new plants. Third, you've made the invisible visible. You now see your food waste instead of pretending it never existed. That mindset shift is a big deal. People who start separating food waste often find they waste less in the first place, because every scrap now tells a story about shopping habits, leftovers, and planning. And this is where it links directly into another green blueprint we've made for you. If you want to go further, we have a whole episode called No Backyard? Turn Food Waste into Money that explores how small space growing and smart food habits can actually pay you back. So what really happens to your food waste? If it goes in mixed trash, it joins a global river of scraps heading into landfills, where it quietly pumps out methane into the air above your city. If you separate it and send it into compost systems, you're cutting that methane dramatically and feeding the soils we all depend on. At the scale of one person, it feels small. At the scale of your building, your street, your city, it's one of the biggest climate and health levers you actually touch every single day. If you want to start, don't overthink it. Pick one system that fits your life. An electric countertop composter like Lomi if you want clean and convenient in a small flat. A bokashi or sealed indoor bin if you love low-tech solutions and have access to soil at the end. Or your city's food waste collection if you just want to change the color of the bin you scrape into. In the description, we've linked the tools and systems mentioned in this video, plus a list of our favorite sustainability choices. Some of those are affiliate links, which means, at no extra cost to you, they help support this channel and let us keep making free green blueprints like this one. If this episode helped you see your food bin differently, hit subscribe for weekly green blueprints and tap the bell so you don't miss what's next, and follow us on Instagram at thegreenblueprint_TGB. And when you're done here, go watch No Backyard? Turn Food Waste into Money. It's the perfect next step if you're ready to turn today's food waste into tomorrow's herbs, savings, and maybe even a little profit. This was The Green Blueprints. Thanks for watching and for giving your food waste a better story.